Well, hi, I'm Andy Rodriguez, Walks with Thunder. You might have seen me on MTV's Fantasy Factory, or maybe you saw me on Biography Channel series Cursed. Maybe you saw my Facebook page or heard me on the radio at KKNW in Seattle. In any case, this is my YouTube channel, and I'm going to be using it to talk about paranormal things, um, about the paranormal life that I have. And I expect that some of it's going to be quite unbelievable to many of you. And we're going to talk about things that nobody actually talks about anymore. And one of those things is the epic romances. So today we're going to talk about love and relationships. Over the years, as a psychic reader, I've been asked the same question in many different ways. The most asked question is our relationship over? Often I just listen and can hear what the spirit next to you, the client, says. On the one hand, I have to be clairaudient, but not what I would call psychic to do the work, though I'm also psychic, as I also see little movies or visions of what the client is asking about. Luckily for me, no vision is exactly like another vision. They're always different and new. Sometimes difficult to understand as they were not meant for me, but my client. The epic romances we see in the movies are real. The soulmate, twin flame, and past life relationships are real. I often say, um, congratulations and gosh, I'm sorry. They are the most difficult relationships to have because they have epic highs and epic lows and epic barriers. Totally worth it though. Having had a few of my own, I can say that I would do them all over again if I had the chance because I learned so much. The symptoms of an epic relationship are the sun seems warmer, the food tastes better, the air is fresher, the colors are brighter. You feel like that person is home. You're so comfortable with them. They make you feel great just because they're with you. And making love is the best thing ever. Why would you ever want to miss out on that huge feeling of love? The person you just met feels like you've known them all your life. They feel so right. Most epic romances are based on a past life connection. Your spirit recognizes theirs, and their spirit recognizes you in the first 5 minutes or so. And there's a spiritual connection. Then that connection brings with it attraction, trust, friendship. This spiritual connection brings forward the love that you had in a past life into the present, added to the attraction and love that you're building here. So it becomes the biggest feeling you've ever had. That spiritual connection allows you to communicate psychically. You can feel them thinking about you, and that causes you to think about them. I say that it interrupts your thoughts. You're doing something that doesn't have anything to do with them, and all of a sudden they pop into your head. That is when they're thinking about you in that moment. Many times we think of them so much that we can't count how many times they've crossed our minds in a day. It seems that you're constant. The epic barriers are usually kind of the same, but they can be slightly different. Distance, you and your love live hours apart, or even days apart, or even on another continent. There could be a wife, a girlfriend, or husband or boyfriend still in the picture with them. Did you notice that the statistics for people that cheat are very high? The heart wants what it wants. Family and friends do not understand your attraction to this person that you just met. They are out of your league, or you are out of their league. Forget about leagues. The heart wants what it wants. Ever see two people that don't fit together visually, but there they are? That is an example of the heart wanting what it wants, even though to those outside that relationship, it doesn't make visual sense. Uh, a handsome man with a not so attractive woman, a goddess with a nerd. I'm sure you know many more real life examples. Remember, we're not trying to body shame anybody here. Real love doesn't care about those things. It breaks all the rules. Sometimes those epic barriers are ones that we create. Communication is an epic barrier. If your love doesn't know how to tell you they're comfortable at this level of commitment, that's trouble. They play the approach avoidance game with you all at once. You're the most important relationship because there's such a big connection to you. And that creates a fear because you also represent the biggest emotional failure they could ever have. Every now and then, I hear people say, I don't want to be in love. And then I hear other people say, I want to be in love like people in the movies. Those are the people that are asking for an epic romance or just experienced a bad romance. That kind of love is not for the weak. Many times, one person will know that they are in an epic romance, and the partner doesn't have a clue about it, doesn't even know the words. They just know it's going very well. Being on the same page of commitment and knowledge is sometimes an epic barrier. The epic romance takes work. You have to communicate clearly what you want and need, what you're willing to accept, and what's a deal breaker. Being able to set clear boundaries, being able to forgive the small things so you can have the big things, loving someone with all that you are, having a conflict resolution plan. We can only argue in person. If we're going to argue in person, we're only going to do that while holding hands. Did you know it's very difficult to yell at someone while you're holding their hand? And that you holding their hand acts like a lie detector because you can tell when they're lying. It's really quite a great agreement to have. Besides, we're exclusive and we make plans to be together as often as possible. Having that person inspire you to be more than you are because they love you so much. I know there are many people that will tell you there's only one twin flame and only one soulmate. My personal experience says that's not so. The elements of the epic romance must be there. And if they are, you can have more than one soulmate, more than one twin flame. Remember, we travel in soul groups of many 50, 100, 1,000, 5,000, and so on. Most epic romances are based on a past life connection. We can create that connection, and I know how. It's part of my work as a shaman. That brings us to a spiritual connection of communication, empathy, knowing that person's thoughts and feelings, the building blocks of all epic romances. Are epic romances easy? No. Are they worth it? Yes. Having done readings for years and listening to those in epic romances, I see that they follow a pattern, much like the Shakespearean play pattern for a romance. Boy meets girl, boy gets girl, boy loses girl, the waiting period, which can be variable, days, weeks, months, years, or even decades. Boy gets girl back. If everything goes well, that is. If they screw it up again, then the pattern repeats. Boy loses girl, the waiting period, boy gets girl back, and so on. The point is that you have to find your communication problems and fix them so that you can get to your happy ever after. Make those boundaries, make those agreements of behavior, maybe even have a relationship rule book so you don't keep having the same arguments. You settle it once, you sign it, you write it down and sign it, initial it, date it, and refer back to it when you need to. My blessing often helps that waiting period move faster. Knowing where you are in the epic romance helps too, and I can tell you that. As you know, what to expect next. Having seen thousands of people in these situations, I can easily see where you are in your epic romance. Now, just think of all the things I didn't tell you about the epic romance. You're just going to have to ask me. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe, share. It helps me share my information. It grows my Facebook and my YouTube page channel. May your love be true. May your heart be healed. And may the love of your lifetimes be yours to have and to hold from this day forward. Thanks for listening, everyone.